In late October 2023, Ocean Watch Australia was awarded a travel bursary from FRDC to attend the Ropeless Consortium in Nova Scotia, Canada, with 5 fisher representatives from around Australia. The group attended the conference to learn more about advances in ropeless fishing technology and whale entanglement mitigation. Hear from our fishers what they thought.
Hi guys, my name's Mitch Sanders. I represent the ocean trap and line and lobster fishery in New South Wales. Top one would be we've got to do everything we need to do not to go down this road. The trouble that them guys are having over there, adapting to this gear, and I think their gear is a lot more adaptable to these systems. The second one would be getting the government on board with some sort of help with the cost of initiating these measures. The US and Canadian governments seem to have a good system of the gear loaning and that sort of thing, so that fishers that are affected by when the whales come into that area can access this gear relatively cheaply and use it for as long as they need, and then give it back and it comes back out again without the fisher having to spend tens and thousands of dollars to buy all the gear and have it for only maybe a short time when the whales are in the area. Third takeaway is that there's a couple of developers over there, because their systems don't suit our fisheries very well. There's a couple of developers over there who seem very keen to adapt their gear and to do more research on how our fisheries run and how we work, so that maybe they can get a better system to work with our gear, rather than trying to adapt our fisheries to their very different fisheries over there in Canada and the northern US. It will work in the fisheries. In regards to whale mitigation, probably because the main whale interactions we have is on the closer country. The lift lab stuff could work on our gear in close if they could develop one big enough to lift our gear. Where we're working around the rocky reefs and that sort of stuff, there's no real room for having an extra sled and that sort of stuff. We'd have to have the lift lab that lifted the actual trap right up. Its pros were that it puts no extra flotation or anything on the trap, so you can land the trap on your spot okay, and all that sort of stuff. The only cons would be if you got stuff in there like dog sharks, Port Jackson sharks, lobster, that sort of thing, that will weigh the trap down, whereas fish swimming around in the trap won't weigh the trap down so much, whereas those other sedimentary species that weigh the trap down would. There's also the slight chance of it sort of getting caught on a rock or that sort of thing. But that's about the only one that I saw over there that would help with our in-close whale mitigation. There is other ones that would work on our out wider gear, especially our lobster gear. But again, cost prohibitive for what we need to do, and realistically not that many whale interactions out there. Yes, definitely. I've had interest from other lobster fishers asking about how we went over there and what sort of gear could be adapted to our deep water lobster. And definitely some of the gear would be very much suited to our deep water lobster without too much changing around. Especially the assured stuff. The assured stuff seemed very good. It worked well on the trials that we did out on the boat in Canada. It's fairly cost efficient. You can talk back to the unit, so you know when it's let go. Nova Technologies, they had some good ideas, and they're very keen to adapt their system to work in our fishery. So I think we could talk to those people and trials here, which are very beneficial to the lobster industry, not so much for whales, but for shipping and cut-off gear that we're experiencing on the East Coast. Well, we're already doing a lot. We've had a fair few meetings, which the PFA and Ocean Watch facilitated. to get some gear like negatively buoyant rope, allowing us to sink our gear on GTRs and on grapple lines, which I think is helping a lot. I think our interactions have gone down quite a fair bit. We're also using the lighter rope at the top, which allows, if a whale gets entangled in it, it allows it to break free. There was the weak links that they had over there too, which are probably a good idea as well, which we were given a couple of those to trial. As yet, I haven't trialed one of those, as we're not in whale season. But yeah, I think there's the mitigation we're doing at the moment is very good. If we can get that more industry wide, would be better, so that we don't have to go down the road of closures. I can't see us going down the road of closures anytime soon. We've got a very different situation here to what they've got in North America and Canada, whereas their northern right whale is critically endangered. The more we can mitigate our interaction with the whales, the better our social license, and the better the chance that we won't ever have to use any of these as a mandatory thing to keep fishing. My main comment about the ropeless fishing gear is, if we don't have to use it, we don't ever want to use it. It's very cost prohibitive and it's very time prohibitive. It puts a lot of hours on your day, and it will put a lot of stress on the crew to get this stuff redone with a few of these different systems. Some systems can be packed in by the hauler. Other systems have to be manually packed. Some systems require light wire tying and that sort of stuff, which with wet hands and gloves, that can't be done. So it's ungloved, do something. That's pretty much an extra crewman you've got to have on the boat to do that sort of stuff with some of those systems. Space on the boats of some of our boats would be harder for stuff like lift labs and that sort of thing, even though they're developing a smaller one. But there is a lot of challenges. I expected them, with the 6 years they've been going with this, to have it down pat better and to have more fishermen on board. But it seems a lot of fishermen over there are reluctant to get on board, which worries me a little bit for our fisheries. The fishermen that are on board reckon it's great. They can fish in closed areas. I'm just hoping we don't have to go down that way, and we can do enough whale mitigation. We get that more industry wide, because at the moment our whale mitigation program is with just a small number of fishers and a few other fishers who've jumped on. Would be nice to get it industry wide, and if we do ever have a problem, then yeah, I'm hoping we don't have to go down the way of how they've gone over there, because in 6 years they still seem to have a lot of work to do.